Okay, My Hero Season 4's come out. My Hero is alright, good anime, not so great fandom. At least there are no dumb tweets yet. Damn it, I jinxed it. Well, it's time to get this off my chest, wouldn't you say? Alright then, here we go. So as many of you who are into anime know, the first episode of My Hero Academia Season 4 has finally come out on October 12, 2019. Those who are into MHA finally get to watch the anime adaptation that Studio Bones has so lovingly produced up to a high quality once again. I may not have said it in greater detail on LTA Episode 2 as I had just said that the quality looks great, but in all honesty, My Hero Academia is probably one of the best looking, best animated shonens out there right now as far as the anime adaptation is concerned. I don't know if that was a hot take, but hey, opinions exist, Annie Twitter. But I do at least say that it is a really faithful adaptation to Horikoshi's work in the manga, and due to this as well as many other aspects, My Hero has gathered a huge fanbase and a cult following. Most of these fans can actually be chill, but there are also others that have a screw loose, to say the least. And these people are the ones that are the loudest in the community. Because of this, the fandom is seen as a terrible fandom overall just because of this select group of people. Which is really unfair on MHA because it's honestly not as bad as people make it out to be. It's not the best anime, it's not the worst either. It's just okay overall in my opinion, but I do like it. So what is this video going to be about exactly? Well, we're going to be addressing a certain few tweets that a few people in the MHA fandom have made in the past week. Ones that have made some parts of Annie Twitter really pissed off. Why don't we look at said tweets, shall we? Exhibit A. Bruh, I. So even with the images provided, it may not be too clear on what the tweet is trying to get out there. The images are side-by-side comparisons of the characters Uraraka and Nejire in both the manga and anime. Again, may not be too clear on what they're trying to point out though. However, what I can gather from this is that they are comparing the designs from both adaptations, which I mean, you had 3 whole seasons, let alone a manga to read to do this, and you only do it now when it's the 4th season? They could just be an anime only who has just discovered Horikoshi's original manga drawings. They could either prefer the manga or the anime for certain reasons. A pretty apt assumption in my opinion. But then that leads me on to Exhibit B, in which the caption blatantly points out the quote-unquote issue. Hi Studio Bones, can you explain me how her chest went from this to that? Try your best to control the horny and channel that simp energy, my fellow e-boys, because we're going to talk about breasts. And no, not in that kind of way. Okay, maybe that kind of way. Now, drawing anything related to manga or anime as a form of media is hard by default since it's also a form of specialist illustration. You need to have a lot of experience at drawing bodies, features, and whatever else, and it takes a lot of practice and years of effort to develop your own style if you are willing to become a manga artist. I mean, compare the panels from JoJo Fat and Blood to JoJolion. Both are vastly different due to Araki's style developing throughout the years. One thing that stands out about manga and anime that is faithfully derived from manga is that the artists themselves tend to exaggerate the assets of their characters, and this is one defining characteristic about anime and manga. So characters can have big eyes like seen in, let's say, Clannad, to relatively small eyes like the characters in Persona. There can also be natural body types like seen in many things, but there can also be very unnatural body types like seen in, let's say, One Piece. So what does this have to do with Horikoshi, Studio Bones, and MHA? Well, let's go back to the second tweet. So on the left is the manga version of Nejire, which was fully illustrated by Horikoshi, and on the right is the Studio Bones anime version of Nejire. Now, similarities are definitely there, such as the hair, facial features, attire, all being faithful to Horikoshi's original design. However, one asset of Nejire in particular in the anime version is much different than Horikoshi's manga version. The bust. Nejire's chest is considerably bigger than what is shown in the image from the manga, and I guess people also found out that most of the female characters in MHA like Uraraka, Momo, etc. also had the same thing that happened to Nejire happen to them too by Studio Bones, and that's where the complaints seem to stem from. Now of course everyone wants the anime adaptation of a particular manga to try and be as faithful as possible to the original. It can be in terms of how well the anime follows the manga, or in this case how well they are being faithful to the initial character designs. However, there are 3 questions I have to ask related to this argument. Those being, does it really matter? Does one relatively slight change to these characters really affect the quality of the anime? Does this change really make the manga superior to the anime? The answer to all of those is no. Not really, at least in my opinion. I mean, I can see where the problem arises since in the manga, Nejire's breasts are smaller, although that could just be because of perspectives. But honestly, if Studio Bones only changed the bust size of some, most, or even all of the female characters without hindering the quality or the design of the characters all that much, then why should it be a problem? I mean, Horikoshi is definitely a known one for his fan service, and we could tell that instantly from both manga and anime. I even said that in LTA episode 2, he's not slick at all. He loves to show off the female skin and other features as much as possible. People just love to bitch. I've been talking to a bunch of people that I know or have talked to on Annie Twitter, as well as Kira, a friend of mine who likes MHA, about this argument. And we can all agree that it doesn't really matter if one asset, i.e. the breasts of a female character in the anime, are different to the manga, since it still retains the original design of that character and makes it even better in some cases when put into the anime. Talking to Kira, she said that she honestly couldn't tell the difference in size of the other MHA females, excluding Nejire. Although Nejire's change is visible, the change of the breast size doesn't affect said character. Like, the female roster's designs in general still look really good, even with the not so apparent change, so Studio Bones should really get a pat on the back for that. And so to end this off, I'll just say, Nejire is an 18-year-old fictional character. Why does this sort of thing need debating in the first place? The same thing also goes with all the female characters too. If it still looks like that character doesn't have to be perfect, that's all that matters, because the artists at the studio that work on the anime can't fully recreate the character from the ground up in Horikoshi's exact style. There has to be inconsistencies in the new version, otherwise it's not new. Nothing is perfectly like the original when it comes to the rendition of the character's design. All in all, the MHA fandom better be thankful it's getting animated by Studio Bones and not Period. Just saying.